And Nathan, we're going to start off with the first division this week and a club statement from the Athlone Town board, which confirmed that Martin Russell had departed his role as manager of the senior men's team. What do we make of this one?
Yeah, I think when the news broke, not a lot of surprise by looking at Athlone this year, bottom of the table. They've only 1 point, picked that up in a 1-all draw against Draw Merchants, Bray Wanderers. Winless in the last 8, 21 goals conceded, which is the most in the first division. So, wasn't surprised. Look, Director of Football Dermot Lennon has been appointed interim manager as the search is ongoing. This is a weird sense of deja vu in a way, isn't it, Roy? We saw here not that long ago having this conversation about Paul Doolan, who departed the role as Athlone Town manager at the end of 2021. Since I think it was Paul Moran in 2012, so that's 10 years ago now. God, life is fleeting. The Athlone Town have had 14 managers since then, the last 10 years. That in itself is a damning statement, you take in the financial issues that they've had in their recent history, that betting scandal in 2017, the dispute of ownership in 2018. It's sad. Athlone have become somewhat of a laughingstock of the league, and it's the manager crisis for me, mate. It really, really is. And you just have to gauge the fans once again. You're chatting to a few fans over the past days, and this news is broke, and nobody actually really had a bad word to say about Martin Russell. And a lot of people think that they won't be able to get a better manager than Martin Russell in the current state, and it's all crying out for a major change in that club from top to bottom. Talking with the board, there's been a lot of fans upset with the board that they haven't been able to back a manager. That's been seen in the past 10 years. Like I said, right, 14 managers, that's bonkers to think of, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you wonder why they can't get any sort of consistency going, or they can't even make any sort of decent stay when they get to the Premier Division. Like, they've had successes with some of those 14 managers, but yeah, it's mad. And going back to that conversation me and you had not that long ago about Paul Doolan, and it always sticks out. You were going on, and rightfully so, now that it seems about that they have to go local. They have to stick local in terms of managers, coaches, players. Surely that's the only way to go here for Athlone Town, isn't there? Because this early on in the season, I've been thinking for a while now, God, who could come in and replace them? And, like last year when Paul Doolan left the job, Ian Morris was without a role back then. There was one or two others that we mentioned at the time. But now, I'm racking my brain and I really can't think, Do they look at Leinster Senior, I think Willow Park, an Athlone side in the Leinster Senior, do they look like a side like that? Adrian Carberry, I was surprised when he let him go after he short spell, not short spell, a year or two spell. It's a long spell for Athlone these days. Like Adrian's a local Athlone man, very popular as a manager, very popular as a player for Athlone Town. So, yeah, for me, that's the only way. But obviously, from someone not from Athlone and from the outside looking in, easier said than done. But
they've nearly used up every manager in the League of Ireland, So where's the problem? Is the problem, it can't be the managers. So it has to be with some of the clubs in League of Ireland, if you look at them, they hand out tiny, tinchy budgets and expect managers to perform miracles. And there's no doubt that that's what's happened down here as well with Martin Russell. Martin Russell's a decent manager, a good coach. And what have Athlone done? What have Athlone done in their time in the League of Ireland? They're not, recently, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything, and they're, as you said, they're going through manager after manager and they're stuck in the way. They nearly went out of existence. So the board in Athlone need to have a good hard look at themselves and say, like, where are we bringing this club? What are we doing here? What is our expectations? How are we going to develop this team? How are we going to develop this club? How are we going to make sure that the town is in with us? I don't see anything from Athlone to say that. And in all fairness, they've always been getting in players from outside of Athlone. They've been getting in managers from outside of Athlone. Where's the passion in Athlone? Where's the passion for football in Athlone? Why isn't it focused in on Athlone Town Football Club? Why aren't all those clubs making sure that the youth are going in there and that the players are leaving Athlone to go on to bigger and better things? I'm not saying that, and there's a good reason why, because I don't see a plan.
And one thing they left out as well, Roy, which I think again, outside looking in, I've never seen it being utilised, is Athlone IT. It's the IT there of blending education with the opportunity to play men's football. like again, it's just a quick example. I'm living down here in Sligo, and I'm starting to see that the relationship that the Sligo Rovers have now with the ITA is turned into a university, actually, which is going to even make that double fold. They're going to have more people coming from, the likes of Dublin and Galway, Cork, bigger cities that probably wouldn't have came. More opportunities, more options. So if you can make them relationships with the ITA in Athlone, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, it really, really is. It goes back, doesn't it, to the board not actually willing to back a manager. And it's sad to say, well, you look at Athlone Town in the 80s when the O'Connor brother, like Torlock O'Connor was the manager and his brother Porrick was the manager after him, and the success that they had in terms of winning league titles, winning FAI Cups. But like I said, in recent history, that's just not been there at all. And it's a shame, again, how often we've talked about these towns like Athlone, but one club is in them, one club towns. It's a good fan base there. They've kept the club alive. In terms of investing money back in 2008, especially when they really looked like they were on the brink of existence back then. I think it's a decent little ground. I know it's not to everybody's taste. It's a
nice ground.
Lovely main
it's a
stand.
lovely ground.
Yeah. I've been there myself. The location of it. It's just outside the town, so that's all ideal. No excuses there of it being, in the middle of the country. So it goes back to potential. We talked about Galway the past couple of weeks, actually, with the investment that they're looking at, but Athlone, they look a million miles away from that. There's no way of seeing. And even last year, we looked like, I even done an article about it last year of the recruitment that they brought in, but even last year, they went through 2 managers, and it just can't. You can't get that level of consistency in all aspects of the club. Not only on the
consistency,
field.
no consistency.
Nothing at all.
And this is where they are, Nathan. They're in that point of no consistency, no flow, no progress, no vision. They really, really have to look hard at themselves down at the board down there. If they're happy with that, fair enough. If they think that they're doing a good job, but if they think they're doing a good job, fair enough. You continue on the way you're going and stay stuck in that first division. When a third tier comes in, don't be too surprised that you're going to drop down to the third division.
Yeah, definitely. It really is. Like I said, this isn't a Cabinteely. This is a side that has been successful in the past and has a rich history of producing players, a rich history in the League of Ireland. It's a town that's, like Westmeath, even with you can't blame the GAA with this county that they're competing. It's a town that the aspect of football should be there. It's a strong history of football in Athlone Town. So, yeah, damn and dying to see. And personally, I don't see where they go next. Like I said, if you're looking at resources of managers, they pretty much used them all up. But even looking at the next 3 games, like Treat United at home, Cove Ramblers away, and Waterford at home, there's opportunities there to pick up points in the next couple of weeks. And I find it impossible to see because you're targeting out managers after the first round of fixtures. It's just impossible to see. And like I said, mate, they cannot be surprised of the position they find themselves in.
Absolutely not. And it'd be very interesting to see where their next step is. Again, it's like getting a blank piece of paper out and starting again, because they really need to have a look at every aspect of what they're doing and how it's all connected up. At the moment, there's nothing connected up at all.